Honey, what was up with you today? Why did you do that? You made all kinds of faces in front of my parents and went through the house room by room without proper manners. That was not the end of it. You said the dishes were not good enough while you were sitting at the dinner table, that my parents prepared for you with their best intentions. You even told my mom to bring you a glass of water. What was that, huh? You were pathetic when my parents asked you questions or tried to make small talk, and you even pretended not to hear them. You worried them with your attitude the entire time you were with them. I didn't know you were such a rude and impertinent person.
How dare you speak to me that way? Don't you have something to say to me? Look, I'm a very competent person who is capable and makes a lot of money. Shouldn't you have honestly told me everything about your family before you dare to trick me and drag me all the way to your parents' house that's located in the far rural area? You made me receive a pitiful meal from your pathetic parents in a shabby country house. You're not only poor, but also shameless, aren't you? What a disappointment. I can't believe you tried to deceive me about your background all this time when we got engaged after dating for over a year.
I am not sure what you mean by saying that I tried to deceive you, or I should have told you. I didn't deceive you with anything.
You never told me that you're from a rural area and that your parents are petty old people from the rural area either. Shouldn't you have told me about such an important thing like this before I proposed to you and you said yes? I wouldn't have wasted over a year of my time trying to fish a rotten one if you had told me about it. You must have been quite thrilled that some competent guy with a promising future like me loved you and wanted to marry you when you came from a poor family in a rural area, huh?
You are crossing a line here. Are you calling my parents petty old people and me a rotten fish? I can't believe you're saying such things without hesitation. Do you have any idea how much time and effort my parents put into preparing that meal for you? And here you are, complaining about it like it was the worst thing ever. You didn't even bother to show any gratitude or respect toward them. It's disappointing and disrespectful. What's with this attitude toward me and my parents? Do you think you're better than us because you're from the city and we're from the countryside? That's really narrow-minded thinking. We may come from different backgrounds, but that doesn't make us any less worthy of respect. We didn't do anything to deserve this kind of treatment from you.
In a capitalist society, money rules and decides everything. Without money, they're nothing but worthless trash without any value or respect for their existence. I feel so foolish and pathetic to have poured my heart and soul for a year to win your affection. Who is the biggest trash ever? It is driving me crazy. You should know I climbed through the ranks pretty fast to become an assistant branch manager at one of the most profitable and busiest branches of US Bank in my early 30s. I can't believe I was completely fooled by a country girl and wasted my precious time. I could have invested my time in some other girl who actually means something. I am so ashamed and embarrassed that I can't even speak. I should have known better than this.
It makes me sick to my stomach listening to you. You're a douche. Is it your logic that you can't be respected if you don't have money? Are people defined by their wealth? Are you saying the reason you followed me for 3 months, showered me with all kinds of affection, and even proposed to me was all about money?
Isn't that obvious? Did you think that there is another charm to you besides money? Oh, please. Don't you even look in the mirror? You're a fat girl. You are worth nothing if it weren't for your money. I thought you came from a wealthy family because you work for Meta, carry multiple Hermes and Chanel bags, and live in an expensive and spacious condominium that other people in your age rarely get. But I guess you were just pretending to be a wealthy girl. It turns out your parents are from a rural area, barely making a living, and will need your financial assistance later on when they're old and can't farm anymore. Were you pretending to be well off all this time when you weren't? Meta was a lie, and you actually worked part-time at some small retail shop, barely able to afford your place, wasn't it? The designer handbags you carry were counterfeit. You bought them to fool a wealthy and smart guy like me. Am I wrong?
Suit yourself. You can think however you want.
I was born as the oldest son of a poor family, but went to a prestigious school like Brown University and got a job at US Bank right out of college, a well-known bank that everyone knows about. I even climbed up to the position of assistant branch manager at a young age. That is why it's impossible for me to marry someone like you, a poor and ordinary girl. Not to mention you're fat and ugly. Let's just say our goodbyes here and end our relationship. You wanted to marry me so badly that you pretended to be a wealthy man's daughter and went to great lengths to win your heart. It's really unfortunate that everything was exposed and you were left feeling rejected. But I hope you won't hold a grudge against me and find someone who's a better match for you. I'm not sure if you'll ever be able to meet another elite like me again with that face and body, but I wish you good luck. Let's never cross paths or contact each other ever again.
All right. I understand that everyone has their own expectations and desires when it comes to finding a spouse, so I won't argue your values are wrong. However, I do think it's important to consider the bigger picture and not get too caught up in superficial qualities or appearances. I know that right now, our emotions are running high and there's a chance that we may say things we don't truly mean. It's also possible we may wake up tomorrow feeling regretful for the words we exchanged today. So rather than hastily ending our relationship, I suggest we take some time to reflect and think things through. Let's take a step back and discuss it further. I believe it's better to take the time to make a thoughtful and informed decision about our relationship rather than rush into something that may not be right for either of us. Let's give ourselves some space and time to think, and then we can come back together to discuss our thoughts and feelings again.
I understand that you're desperate not to miss out on the opportunity of marrying an assistant branch manager with a bright future ahead, but please don't show any more despicable behavior. Let's just end things here. We don't need to take more time to think about it because I made up my mind for sure. However, since I work at a bank, it's important for me to be clear about the numbers and to ensure everything is accounted for. I don't want there to be any misunderstandings or lingering debts between us. Setting aside trivial matters, please return the Louis Vuitton bag worth $3,000 that I gave you as a Christmas present last year, as well as the diamond ring worth $4,000 that I gave you for your birthday a few days ago.
I suggest that we take some time to think things over, but do you really have to do this? Do you have to be so calculative about everything while we were in a loving relationship until just yesterday?
If you have something to be calculative, you can do it yourself. Why? No matter how much you think about it, there's nothing you can take from me, right? I thought you wouldn't give me gifts because you were from a wealthy family and had high self-esteem. But now I see that you couldn't do it because you were too poor to afford it. Since even a speck of dust is too precious to a pauper like you, I'm taking back everything I gave you. Calculating and weighing the benefits carefully is a principle I've lived by and the key to how I've come this far. It's not something everyone can achieve, climbing to a high position like mine in their early 30s. It's because I had my own strict principles.
Do you believe you are able to get to where you are right now solely by yourself?
Of course. I understand that you were feeling hurt by our breakup, but it's not necessary to make a big deal out of every little thing. It's awkward to see you making a fuss just because you don't want to miss out on a competent guy. Let's just end it here and move on, okay?
Do you think it makes sense for two adults who have even been engaged to end their relationship through text messages without even meeting each other in person? We're not high school students anymore. Have you not learned anything about social interactions through your life experiences? Where are your business manners?
I don't want to hear you whining about it one more second. Or should I say, stop oinking, since you're a pig? A pig that's so ugly and big that's covered with so much fat. I could feed a family with the fat pork belly you have inside of you. It just makes me gag thinking about it.
You're coming off as childish and despicable until the end. Are you really the responsible and dependable man that I knew? Are you the man who I wanted to spend the rest of my life with? Your behavior is so strange that you don't seem like the man I knew. I don't recognize you anymore.
Cut the crap and get out of my sight. I don't ever want to see you again. You suck. What on earth did you do? Did you harbor a grudge against me for breaking up with you and deliberately set out to destroy me? Are you trying to be some protagonist of some tragic drama? Was I that tempting to you? Did getting dumped by me really become such an obsession and grudge that you couldn't bear to leave me without ruining me? By the way, what kind of relationship do you have with our branch manager that you can even dare to suggest to him to fire me?
I believe your branch manager has a relationship with my parents, not me.
Come again? Are your parents parvenus by any chance?
They're not social climbers. Should I say landlords who inherited a vast amount of land from their ancestors?
Did you say landlord? Your parents are two old people who farm the land in a rural area and you call them landlords? I've been to your house. Weren't your parents the ones who struggled to make ends meet, living off whatever they could find in the mountains and fields, barely scraping by on even the most meager of meals?
They served you those foods because the ones that can be found in nature are the most valuable and healthy. And they didn't build an extravagant house to filter out money-hungry people like you. But I guess even an extraordinary banker like you can't seem to catch on to that, can you?
Are you saying they are actually the rich ones in the rural area?
I think so. I guess that's why they were able to afford to pay cash and buy their daughter a luxury condominium that's located in the heart of Los Angeles downtown. I hold a job because I don't want to get bored. I don't need money because my parents have more than enough of it.
Are you saying all those luxury handbags and the pearl necklace you were wearing were all genuine?
I understand that it may not be easy for someone like you who came from humble beginnings with your dark and unenlightened eyes to recognize a person of wealth and status like me. But don't worry, I won't hold it against you. It's not your fault that you were born into poverty and have never had the opportunity to experience the finer things in life after all. However, you need to stop using those eyes, which make people look like pigs, to search for a wealthy girl to marry. It's not going to happen, and it's frankly quite ridiculous. You need to stop being delusional and face the reality that you're an ordinary banker who is not suitable for a wealthy girl. And let me make one thing clear. Your behavior has been so outrageous that my father has decided to move the $5 million he had deposited in U.S. Bank to another one. He's fed up with your antics and your unprofessionalism. Of course, he said that there would be no need to take the money out and move to another bank if you'll be taken out of the bank.
What the hell? Is that why my branch manager is trying to fire me? How can a person use such despicable tactics? Is it something to be proud of that their own daughter was rejected by a man because she was so unattractive? And now they're trying to play games with her fiancé's job? I thought they were simple country folks, but indeed manipulative bitches.
Do you still think that the position of assistant branch manager at the bank, which is your lifelong pride, would have been possible without my dad's $5 million certificate of deposit account? If I didn't persuade Dad and supported you silently from behind, it would have been an impossible dream. You could never be able to attain this position if it weren't for his support. And yet, you still talk about us as if we were just some country bumpkins. Do you still view us as inferior, as if our roots in the countryside make us less valuable? What does that make you then? Can you still label yourself a competent banker in your early 30s when you would not have been who you are today without the help of country bumpkins? That sounds pathetic to me. What do you think?
Okay, Leah, I'm sorry. I feel like I've made a lot of mistakes due to my foolishness. I admit that I have caused really unforgivable wounds to you and your parents. I'm such a worthless guy who can't do much, but still, you should believe that I truly love you with all of my heart. Can you do that for me? I slipped out of my tongue for a moment because my mind was not in the right place. I didn't mean a single thing I said. All you need to know is that I love you so much.
I don't think I can believe your words anymore.
Think about the past year. Look back at everything I've done for you in the past year. Then you'll believe me. You'll know how hot my love was for you. I think my head was messed up last week, but it's clear now. People can make mistakes and have wrong thoughts for a moment. That's why we're human. Let's forget about the mistakes and start afresh. We've spent enough time together to deserve another chance to make it right.
Absolutely. That's exactly why it took a week for me to sort things out slowly. I waited for you for a week and wondered what you were up to during that time. So I'm sorry, but I had a private investigator on you and he found out that you were seeing another woman. You were doing the same things as you did to me to win me over back in the day, all over again. Eating at fancy restaurants, watching movies, going to the beach. If you were going to see another woman, you should have enjoyed going to places you haven't been to before and trying something new, instead of doing the same things repeatedly. Didn't you think it was getting boring? It was so ridiculous and pathetic to see you when you pursued and started looking for another wealthy woman coming from a wealthy family right after you called off our engagement unilaterally. I realized that it would be difficult for me to dream of a happy and peaceful future with you. We should call it off. There's no hope for us.
I indeed saw another woman, but it was just one time. That woman is the daughter of my mom's close friend, and my mom pushed me so hard to meet her. It was only one date, and that's all it was. I didn't see her after that. I meant to call you and ask you to come back to me. I swear that's what happened. You need to trust me.
Cut the crap. Make sure to compensate for the valuable antique that you broke when you were fiercely going through my parents' house. The antique is one of a kind, so it's very expensive. Make sure to compensate properly, otherwise I'll report you to the police. There are also minor things that were damaged because of you, but I'll forgive you for those since I know it will be hard for you to compensate for them all. A banker like you will not have the ability to pay for everything.
Did you say valuable antiques?
Are you trying to pretend as if you don't know about it again? The antique that you broke at my parents' house was inherited from our ancestors. My dad had it appraised before and he was told that it was worth at least $1 million. So you should compensate for it, right? It's a valuable antique that cannot be purchased again, even with a large sum of money. But since we once loved each other and cherished our moments together, I'll accept compensation and let it go. How long do you think it will take for you to compensate? I'll try to give you as much time as you need.
Oh, honey, you know very well I don't have that much money. I'm begging you, let's not do this, please. Can't we just go back to last week before everything happened? If you give me a chance, I won't badmouth your parents and I won't bully you and call you a pig ever again. I'll treat you with more sincerity and honesty than ever, and I'll make sure to make you happy without causing any trouble after we get married. So please forgive me. We should continue with our engagement and start planning for the wedding. I am begging you.
What wedding? I will never have a wedding with you, and you're the one who should be called a pig, not me. Look at you calling me a pig when you're 45 pounds heavier than me. You're an 8-layer pork belly if I'm a 6-layer.
You know what? I'm a 10-layer pork belly, and not just 8. I have no problem being a 100-layer pork belly if you could forgive me. So let's get back to planning for our wedding as we previously did. Please, Leah. I'll get you another diamond ring if that'll make you feel better. I can and will do anything for you if you would just marry me.
Stop dreaming and make sure to compensate for the antique you broke. Pay for the cancellation fee of the wedding venue as well because you're the reason why our wedding is called off.
Please don't do this to me, Leah. We shouldn't keep talking about money between us. It makes me so sad that our relationship has turned into this. How can you tell me to pay for all of that when you know how much a banker makes? I don't have the ability to do that.
Now you're just a banker when you couldn't brag enough that you're the assistant branch manager of a well-known bank? I don't know, and I don't care how much you make. You need to do what you need to do, right? I'm getting a lawyer, so talk to him, not me. I don't wish you well. After what happened, I sent a claim for compensation for the antique item and for the cancellation fees. He paid me the entire requested amount by withdrawing everything he had, including his savings and stocks. The woman he was seeing turned out to be a victim who had no idea he was engaged. So I didn't sue her for anything. I heard that she broke up with him once she found out about me and what happened to me. He tried to contact me again, but I blocked him immediately. I don't know what he's doing now or where he is. Not that I care. I wish he becomes a decent human being through this experience. But people don't change so easily. He might still be out there, approaching wealthy women's daughters like he did to me. It's terrifying to think I might have married him without knowing the truth about him. I've resolved to be more careful when meeting a man in the future. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please like it and subscribe for more videos.